Hey, it's Lomatini Lit Up, and here is what I am lit up about. I'm lit up about the fact that I am back. Almost 4 months of a little hiatus, and there's an elephant in the room. Let's talk about it right away. I killed myself. I committed suicide on March 19th. And that date, the 19th, is very symbolic, and I'll get to that much later. But the number 19 is, wow. Wow. 3 major things happened in my life around the number 19. Major issues. But I am back. Here I am. I'm back in the studio at the podcast studio provided by my lovely and amazing friend, Alex. He's a beautiful person, and without him, I probably wouldn't be here. Alex Jimenez. I probably would not be here. No, in fact, I wouldn't be here. So much love and shout out to you, Alex. And during this journey, there's a lot to talk about. There is so much to talk about. And I don't know if I'm going to get it all in tonight or not. But I am so excited to be back. And I have been back for almost 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. And I've been wanting to get back into the podcast room, and it just didn't seem right yet. And by the way, I wanted to share with you that this is my favorite angle. I've got this one, and I've got that one. But this is my favorite angle. I don't know. Alex hooked it up, and I just love the way it looks when we do this thing. So anyway, you can obviously tell that I'm in an extremely happy mood because God spared my life, and I went through hell. And I punished myself more than any other person on this planet could have punished me. Let's make that clear. Yeah, some bad things happened, and unfortunately with my wife and I, who is no longer my wife, it just was a bad thing, and I punished myself way more than any court system could ever punish me. Literally, I committed suicide. And if it wasn't for the first responders and the amazing talent at Vanderbilt Trauma, I would not be here talking to you right now. We'll get to that later. It's just a blessing that I'm actually here. It's a blessing that I still have a group of people in my life and some of my family, God bless them, that I'm here. And I'm able to talk to you about this because this is the second time ago. You guys all know back in February that I tried to hurt myself then too with the strangling of the zip tie and all that crap. And I was like, I got a raspy voice but it was at that point too, I was like telling all of you out there that I was going to spend this time reaching out to other people in hopes that I could help change their minds. But truthfully, I was not ready. I was not there. The intention was there. The intention to help other people not go through what I was going through was there. But I wasn't finished going through what I was going through. Far from it. So I can explain March 19th, I can explain. Started out as actually a beautiful day. Let's get into it. Started out as actually a beautiful day. It was that crisp type of spring morning, that was like 50 some degrees. The sun was shining. I had left the window open and that crispness that you didn't want to get out of your covers because it was so warm, but just a beautiful day. And I was excited because it's Sunday and Sunday was my day. But then it overcame me to realize, oh my God, that wasn't my day. It was our day with my ex-wife. And it was our day because that was our day, because it was church day. It was our mimosa day. It was our brunch day. It was, all the things that we do together. It was almost like we actually called it our date day. And so it actually started out fine, and I was good, and I was doing laundry, and I was doing all that kind of stuff, and just kind of staying busy and kind of keeping my mind off of it. And then, church, I love church. I love the church that I go to, which is called Crosspoint TV. They have several locations, but their main location is the one in downtown Nashville. So I typically watch it online because that's a good 35, 40-minute drive from Franklin. So I watched it online, and I was severely disappointed because they had a guest speaker. Not anything about her that's bad. She's a great guest speaker, but I've seen her before. And she said the same exact speech. And I was disappointed because it was like, okay, it's been months since you've actually spoke to us, the church, and you use the same one, the same speech. I was like, very disappointed. So I muscled through it. I had a mimosa just to kind of in remembrance of our day. But I was super excited because I was going to do a podcast like this one. And the podcast was about Robin Williams. And I've always been a big fan of his. And he had his final interview was with Diane Sawyer. And let's take a little break, a little side note here. I actually did a podcast on the 19th. I was so excited about doing the podcast on the 19th after the church and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to share it so bad because of what happened to Robin Williams. And that was the last interview that he had given before he took his life. And I was so into the whole, suicide and surviving suicide and all the crap in between. And so I wanted to share that video. And that podcast. And so I did the podcast and recently just watched. Okay. So man, there's so much to tell. I feel like, oh my gosh, I just, I wish all of you out there that are watching me were just here and we could just like freaking, just high five and just do all that stuff. But so what happened is I had left the apartment. I came all the way down here to Spring Hill, which is a 25-minute drive. Did the podcast on Robin Williams, and I think I literally did 25 takes. Literally, because I was watching myself and I realized I was not right in the head. I was not right. Spacing off, going off on tangents, literally not speaking correctly, meaning I was just not right in the head. And I played the Robin Williams video live so that people could hear the video. And basically what Robin Williams was saying was this: it's not about us anymore. It's about people. It's about helping others. Kick your ego to the side. And any of you that have ever possibly watched Robin Williams or followed his career, severely depressed, suffered a lot of anxiety. And I think really the stage was his way of escape. Married several times. God love him. But that was his final interview, and then he did what he did. And I think it actually took more of a toll on me actually talking about that than it should have. Because here's what happened that day. Let's talk about what happened. You guys have, a lot of you out there have seen Channel 2. You can look it up online. There's a lot of online material about Patrick Lomentini, from Barkaid and all the hair stuff that I've done. And I'm very proud of a lot of the stuff. I don't recommend, what you might see, but I'm going to tell you what happened. I don't know what happened. I actually don't remember it. And that's why I'm actually here talking to you because of it. But apparently I don't remember anything after that podcast. I do not remember walking out the door. I do not remember. The only thing I remember is shutting things off, turning the cameras off. But when I walked out the door to get into my car, I don't remember a thing. I don't remember which way I drove. I don't remember going out of the parking lot. I don't remember getting on the highway. I certainly don't remember a high-speed chase. And who would have ever thought that a 2006 Chrysler Town and Country, who would have ever thought that a 2006 Chrysler Town and Country with 315,000 miles would do a high-speed chase? You know what's even more messed up is it actually runs better now than before. Maybe I blew all the gunk out of it. I don't know. But I don't remember any of it. I don't remember. Apparently, I ran a cop off the road, and they pulled me over, slit my throat, stuck a knife in it, and cut both jugulars. So, from what I was told, the body only contains 7 pints of blood. I lost 4 pints of blood on the highway. I shut down the highway. Can you believe that I pulled an O.J. Simpson in 2023? How ridiculous is that? I shut down a complete highway. I had who knows how many cops chasing me, and I don't even know why I was running. I didn't have anything to run from other than the fact that I was completely depressed and missed my life and all that other bleh. But I did what I did, and I own it. That's one thing I will tell you right now. I'm very proud of myself over all the years and all the mistakes and all the dumb marriages and all the dumb relationships and all the stupid financial mistakes and all the stuff that I've done. I've never blamed it on anybody else. I've always owned it, and I own this, even though I don't remember it. But here we are. Patrick's back. Still dealing with some not financial, but, well, yeah, financial. Dealing with the legal aspect of it all. And I'm sure that will take care of itself. But this is something I'm going to chronicle with you guys, and I'm going to share with you guys my comeback. Because I am here to tell you, I am 55 years old. I have zero. I have a 2006 Chrysler Town and Country with 315,000 miles. I have zero money in the bank. I have a job, and I work at a place where they love me. They're my family. They got me through these last 4 months when other people just ran to the hills because they knew who I am. And that's one thing that's interesting is that there's 3 types of people that I've experienced so far going through this. 1, people that absolutely love me and they support me and they know that God forgives and they are here for me and they have showed up in a lot of different ways. 2, people that want nothing to do with me. And I understand. It's cool. I get it. People that want nothing to do with me. They're scared of their kids being around me. I've been cutting their hair for years. They didn't want anything to do with me. And 3, the people that are so busy with their own life, they have no idea what is going on in my life, so everything is hunky-dory. So I love number 1 and I love number 3. And number 2, I mean, it's like I can't do anything about that. There's 7.3 billion people in this world, and there will be more that will come, get their hair cut, buy a house for me, and all that kind of stuff, which is another interesting point. I have a real estate license, as you all know, and that broker that I was licensed with and my team leader, and I'm not going to mention his name, all dumped me because of why. Let's look at this. They were all worried about their brand and reputation being associated with me. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. You got your own priorities and you've got things you need to worry about for yourself. Now I know where I stand. And it's okay. I move on. You move on. Everything is great. But that is a very interesting point. Number 2, number 2, number 5, number 6, whatever. Another point I want to make. Another point I want to make are the people that I said, I told you so. I gave you a home. I gave you food. I gave you money. I gave you whatever you needed to do to try and build yourself back up after the first suicide attempt. And the first suicide attempt, let's talk about it, man. Let's just be raw. The first suicide attempt was more planned. It was like, okay, if I do a zip tie, and I'm so vain, I don't want to mess with my face. It's ridiculous. So I did a zip tie, planned it out, took a bunch of Benadryl, because online, if you take over 42, 45 Benadryl, you should, be done. So I took Benadryl, and I put a zip tie around my neck, and I actually did it at my job, which, just created just massive fiasco, big circus. But it was more planned. So anyway, after that happened and I got through the therapy and I got through the mental psych unit and all that kind of stuff, and I felt like I got it all together and I was fine. And those people are like, hey, I got a place for you to stay, and I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here for you, buddy, and all that kind of stuff. Talk to my family. But it was more of so it was interesting is that I went to and talked to the doctor, and he said to me, he's like, hey, listen, most people talk about suicide. You actually did it. And that is where I came up with the book idea, Surviving Suicide and All the Crap in Between. And here I want people to listen to me for 1 second. Surviving Suicide and All the Crap in Between is basically this. I did the same damn thing 23 plus years ago. Obviously not to the extent that I did it now. But when I've had my first marriage and my first divorce and my first breakdown and my first loss and destruction in life, I tried to take my life. And it was weak. I took rat poisoning and I tried to slit my wrist and did some stupid bullshit to get attention. But I never really had the guts to actually do it. I was in a marriage that I hated. I should have never married this woman. And I was 18, 19 years old. She was 5 years older than me. And I should have never married her. I even had questions and doubts at her parents' house. Let's get down and dirty about it all. I was at her parents' living room a week before the marriage. And I was just, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Here she comes walking in, wondering about what's going on. And I tell her, I said, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if we should be getting married, blah, blah, blah. The first thing out of her mouth, which actually, you'll understand her personality as soon as I tell you what she said. Because she said it again much later down the road. Something similar. I said, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if we should be getting married. I'm too young. Blah, blah, blah. First thing out of her mouth was, what will the people think? We've invited all these people. And I'm like, wow, that's really the thing out of your mouth versus talk to me. Let's see what's going on. Wow. So we've got enough content for many podcasts, and this is all going to be in the book. So I went ahead and married her. 5 years older than me. I was just literally out of high school, 19 years old. She was already 5 years older than me, out of college. And blah, blah. And my name really wasn't what it is today, which is interesting because she claims she never knew anything about this, but I'm going to tell you right now. My last name was Morris, Morris. And I changed it to Lomentini because of creating my own identity. I wanted to create my own identity, so I changed my name. And it was an interesting process of how I went through changing my last name for my own identity. And a lot of it had to do with Italian backgrounds and people that I knew that were Italian and there in Kansas City. So I got caught up in all this stuff and I left. And I moved to St. Louis where she lived. We settled in and all that kind of stuff. And I just realized quickly that this was a bad move. But I stuck with it and got married. We had several kids. We had Patrick and we had Michael. We had Alyssa and Alexa. Alexa is an interesting story because, spoiler alert, she's not my kid. Let's go back to the kids. Patrick, I'm super excited about. Michael, God rest his soul, passed away way too soon. Alyssa was the darling of my life. The darling of my life. And, I wish that there was some way that my children and I could, reconnect. And then the world fell apart in 2000. Business fell apart. Made some bad decisions. Marriage fell apart. And, we owned a big house and just overextended ourselves and everything just fell apart. So remember what I told you about what she said? She's like, oh, what will people think? Well, I went to her and said, hey, maybe maybe you guys don't know what the hell's going on. So we had a starter home as newly married people. And so we were there for a few years, 3 kids. And then I started doing extremely well in business. And my ego took over and I was like, oh, there's this big gigantic house back in 2000 for $400,000, $425 to be exact. And I happened to do business with the builder and I was like, work this deal. And we got into a house that was way over our head. And then after a while, everybody settled in. It was great. Oh my God, look at them. They're doing so well. But then business fell apart. And I said to her, hey, listen, we need to sell and downsize. And she's like, oh my God, what would people think? Always worried about the other people. She's so pretentious. Ah, my God. So I felt extremely guilty about it all. I felt absolutely horrible about it all. And so I just went off on this crazy tangent and I just left and did suicidal tendencies. I took sleeping pills. Rat poisoning was a disaster. And that's a whole other story. But then I did all kinds of other things to try and kill myself, and it just never worked. Because apparently I was just seeking attention. And that's it. There's people that kill themselves and people that just need attention. And so I just needed attention. And then we got divorced. We separated. We got rid of the house. And then I ended up with another girl in a complete rebound situation. I'm leaving out names. But because of this specific girl who's related to specific people, made my life a lot worse than it needed to be. In fact, my business went under and I got held for like a couple $100,000 check on a Porsche that I sold to New Jersey and then used the cash for other purposes. So then you got this interstate traveling. It's just like, it was this big, gigantic disaster. And so unbeknownst to me, my lawyer was like, hey, we got this handled. We're going to take care of this. You know what I mean? And I did not keep communication open with my lawyer to understand what was going on. I'm thinking prison time. I'm thinking going away for a long time. I'm thinking all this. And unbeknownst to me, it was nothing but probation. It was a white collar crime, first time offender, never done anything like this in my life, and boom. But no, I get into a relationship with a very volatile woman, and it becomes an absolute disaster. And what turned out to be possibly just probation ended up being a year in federal prison. So, there you go. Let's get back to my name, which is Lomentini. That's my name. I've had it for 20 plus years. Oh my God, a long time. I created the name. I'm the only one. I have 3 children that still carry the name and an ex-wife that still carries the name, which I find very interesting because she hated that name, blasphemed me about the name, but she's keeping it because of the children. Well, I want to tell you why you're keeping that name, because it's marketable and it's a great name. She took me actually to the courthouse in 1988. I've got the documentation to change my name. Drove me there. But then we got divorced. She tells everybody, I had no idea that his name was different. Wow. What's even more interesting is that during our turmoil-ish marriage, the last year and a half, this is it. This is the bombshell. This is going to be in the book. The last year and a half of our marriage, we did not have sex. We did not have sex. And lo and behold, she's pregnant. And I'm like, it was miserable. It was miserable. You're pregnant and we're going through this amazing firestorm of shit. And she said, I just thought having another kid would bring us closer together. I'm like, I guess so, but whose kid is it? She ain't mine. She's not my kid. So, you know what? I'm at this point in life. I'm 55 years old. I'm rebuilding. I am reconnecting. This is going to be the biggest comeback ever. And I'm going to chronicle this entire trip. It's going to be like the Truman Show. Have you ever seen the movie The Truman Show? It's going to be like all y'all watching what's going on with Patrick. Patrick's going to come back from zero money to money. Patrick's going to come back from no job, nothing, to all kinds of stuff, to a relationship that were terrible to a great relationship. And one of the things that I have right now that is so amazing, typically we all want to talk about the other stuff first. God. Without his grace, without his mercy, I wouldn't be here right now. He saved me from sticking that knife into my neck. He saved me from the 4 months in that hellhole called Williamson County Jail. He is keeping me and protecting me from all the haters and all the people out there that, want nothing to do with me. But yet he's also bringing all of this beautiful love into my life. And I'm just so grateful. So amazingly grateful. But I'm going to chronicle all of this for you. Like, for example, I told you earlier that my real estate broker left me because it didn't fit or they were worried about their reputation. Turn it around, and suddenly I have a new broker that loves me, that wants to work with me, that wants to have me on their team. Man, you can't make this stuff up. I got a barbershop that loves me. They're my family. You can't make this stuff up. I did what I did, and I killed myself. Literally, committed suicide. And a lot of people were like, whoa, well, did anybody pronounce you dead? I don't know what else you need, dude. Stuck a knife in my neck, cut both jugglers, lost 4 pints. The doctor on my review on the 200 staples that were in my neck said the only reason that you're alive is because of God. We had 3 nurses with all of their fingers plugged into your hole of your neck, trying to keep the bleeding down. It took 6. Your body only keeps 7 pints of blood. And it took 6 pints at surgery and 4 pints of plasma during surgery. I'm not sitting here bragging. I'm sitting here reveling in the revelation that I'm alive. God is that good. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life chronicling it, showing you that you can come back, showing you that there's more to it than a lost relationship and our bad marriage. That there's more to it than money, that there's more to it than all this other stuff. I just got off the phone with this amazing photographer that's going to come down and do some pictures in August. And he is all on the Jesus train, that I'm here for a purpose. And I am so grateful for it. And I will never spend another day not recognizing that. And it's funny because, everybody finds Jesus in jail. Now, I've always had Jesus. But I read things in the Bible that I've never experienced before. Never experienced Isaiah. I never realized that Paul wrote most of the New chapter or the New Testament. New Testament. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. We could go on forever. But there's so much in the book. And so there's so much more in the book too. And there's some things I need to talk to some lawyers about before I actually put it out there in the book. But yeah, the thing with my daughter, that's been a secret in my family. My family has known about my fourth child forever. So I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut. Don't you think she deserves to know? She's 24 years old. She don't look like any of the others. Don't you think she knows? Don't think she deserves to know? She don't even know me anyway. My ex-wife made it purpose. My ex-wife made it her God's mission. I don't know, I shouldn't say God's mission because he would never do that. Made it her mission to keep the kids away from me. And then she blames me for being away from the kids. You see how that works? Yeah. But I'm super excited to be back in the studio. Thank you, Alex. And it has been absolutely amazing. I've been wanting to do these pods for the last few days. I've been available to do them, but I just didn't really know what to say. And so it just kind of dawned on me today to just get up here and talk. I have no real agenda other than just say, hey man, I am alive and I'm here and I'm healthy. You may not notice this, but I lost 20 pounds. I don't know if you can see it, but the neck slice is right here, and both stab wounds are here. So a nice little scar to remind me of how valuable life is. And so I'm going to go with that, and I'm excited about it, and I'm no longer going to look back. I've got some things I've got to take care of, and quite frankly, I'm homeless. And I'm okay with it. I don't think anybody realizes out there just how happy I am right now to be alive. It seems like when I stuck that knife into my neck, it cleansed all of the past. It cleansed all of the badness. It cleansed all of everything I was all so upset about. Realizing that the value of my life, the value of life, period, is so much greater than any of the turmoils that we're going through. And yeah, I took the extreme, and I actually did it. I did it. Tried to take my life. Not even tried. I took my life. And if it wasn't for their ability I'll say it again, if it wasn't for the first responders' ability to stick gauze into my neck, and we're going to edit this part anyway. How valuable life is, and how grateful I am, and how excited I am to be here and talking to you right now. And a lot of pods are going to be coming. A lot more subjects are going to be coming. I dropped some bombshells. We'll see where they go. I'm not trying to create anything crazy. I'm just saying I'm tired of secrets. I'm tired of not being who I am. How many times, oh my God, this is a whole other podcast. I cannot tell you how many failed relationships and terrible relationships I've had where I changed my identity to satisfy their want. Cowboy, bad boy, whatever it is. And those were none of who I am. And I'm not going to do it again. Ever. I'm who I am. Love me for who I am. And let's rock and roll. Let's have a good life together. So anyway, there's going to be a lot more coming. I'm going to chronicle my life. I'm going to tell you about my jobs. I'm going to tell you about how much money I'm making. I'm going to tell you about if I get a new car. I'm going to tell you about everything because that's how transparent I want this to be. And we're going to just have a beautiful life together and just keep rolling. Thank you again to Alex for this podcast room. Thank you so much, Alex, for saving my life. And also Tracy. Y'all don't know Tracy. Oh, Stony bail bonds. Saved my life from the dungeons of Murray County Jail. Peace out, everybody. Love you.